But yeah. So next I've got is we just want to talk about sort of how well Fallon did. I mean, I don't know about you, but she was 8-2 down to Dimitri. I thought we wouldn't see her again, and the next thing you know, she's in the final with a near on 100 average playing Van Gerwen. I mean, what did you think of that?
I'm probably not the only one who did this, and anyone who says that they never or even considered it, I will happily call you a liar. I turned over at 7-1, I think it was, or 7-2, and I turned over because I thought that game's done. I'm going to come back and watch the final and see how that goes. When I watch darts, I tend to be a little bit in and out of it in terms of I'll just do something in between little bits, and that was probably at one of those points where I was like, this game's done, and I'm gonna go do something else and come back for the final. Um, yeah, what she did was in that semi-final, that turnaround, and when you look back, because obviously I had to go back and watch it, see what happened, because I thought it was over. I've got to go back and see what happens. At that point, I thought it was a good turnaround, but it was more Dimitri dropping off than Fallon hitting new levels.
Yeah.
She hit new levels in that final.
Oh yeah.
And that was new levels that have not been seen before. Now, I'm huge on social media. As you know, this is social media. Everything, I love social media. And I went on Twitter and Facebook, and she was getting blasted. There was people calling it a fix. There was people wondering why she was even there. She was getting blasted. There was more, I'd say, hatred than support online, despite the fact she made the final. In that final, she turned heads, and a lot of those people that was putting the negativity out had to stop, retract, almost get to a stage of, okay, hands up, it's not going to be 11-0 Michael van Gerwen, because Fallon's actually winning this game right now. And I think Fallon turned heads in that final and made a believer of a few more people. But I don't know if it's about buying into her, and I don't know if it's about buying into women's darts. I think what she did is she's shown, like many people have, just watch these Euro tours, watch like the county darts, watch the challenge tours, watch the Q schools. She's shown that there's a lot of talent outside the 128 players who can compete with one of the best players that's ever lived in Michael van Gerwen.
Oh, she was phenomenal at parts. The back end, she kind of dropped off, but Van Gerwen hasn't been playing full force. I mean, we used to see him hit 100 averages regular, but still, what Van Gerwen is very good at his B game. He's still a 95 consistently. It's very rare that Van Gerwen drops off to 80 and comes back up. He's usually there or thereabouts. And yeah, I mean, her clutch doubling was unreal.
That's one thing that I was very impressed with. She has one dart, a double, it goes, and she did that at the World Championships. She hasn't done that since. If you watch her on things like... It's about to fall. If you watch her on things like the Online Darts League, if you watch her like at Selzy, if you watch her in these other events, she hasn't been doing that. And I think that is what kind of got a little bit of the witch hunt people fired up, because they was like, well, she hasn't done anything since that point, but you put her on that stage and she performed, she produced it. That final, let's take away everything. Let's take away the fact it's a woman versus a man. Let's take away all the ladies' darts and all these different conversations and all these different bits that are going on. That was a quality final between two dart players. And personally, I think there was too much focus on the fact that it was a lady versus a man final, and it detracted from the fact that it was such a good final on its own merit.
Yeah. I think kind of what you say, I guess Dimitri is the best example. Until recently, everyone was like, "Oh, Dimitri's only a stage player. He can't do anything else." But Dimitri's just progressed so much, and I think the way that lockdown came around was, I imagine that for Dimitri at the time, being on that stage with no one there, probably felt like a bit of a Pro Tour. And I think he maybe developed a little bit off the back of that. And I kind of feel like Fallon is in a similar position at the moment. On the stage, she's been phenomenal. But I myself was surprised watching the Selzy live stream. And Dieter Hedman's not been in form for a while, but Dieter beat her in, I think, 2 finals potentially. And that was a big shock to me, considering how well you see her play on the telly. And I think that dents her. I'm going to call it a legacy, but obviously when Sky promote her as, you know, the Queen of the Palace, and I think for how well people see her on the telly and then look at her results, because the people that look at those results probably don't even follow darts that well.
No.
I mean, I've seen Fallon hit multiple 90+ averages at county on darts for Windows, but you see her then hit a 75 average at Selzy, and everyone doubts her and is like, oh, this is why Lisa's better. And then, but you know, Fallon was there when it mattered in the final against Van Gerwen, and she's, you know, sort of paving the way really. But as you say, I think there's too much focus on the fact that she's a lady doing it, rather than just she's a cracking player.
And I think that's what sometimes fuels that little bit of a witch hunt, so to speak, which she doesn't really deserve, because tell me one person who wouldn't accept the opportunities, you know, that she's got. So,
well, a lot of people saying, how come? Well, I think Jose wasn't there, was he?
Yeah.
And everybody, like, how could you put her in and not Jose? But
she gets that phone call. She's not going to go, nah, actually, I shouldn't be here. Jose's there. Lisa's got a tour card. No.
But
she's got an opportunity, and she's got a stage to go and say, this is me. And that's what she did. So, you know, fair play to her. I think she changed a few opinions. Yeah,
and I think also she backed up why she got invited. Because imagine the amount of exposure they'd have got. I know the narrative we don't want is that it's a lady, but how massive it was when all these lady sports stars and stuff, when she was doing well at the Worlds, the amount of people that got behind her, the people that weren't even in darts, they were getting involved, because it was such a massive step for ladies darts. And again, if let's say Jose was there and won, or was in the final, we would expect that. But I bet how many new people tuned in just to see Fallon would have been pretty substantial, I'd imagine.
I'd be interested to see the viewing numbers.
Yes.
I'd like to see those, because I do get told a lot, and we get a lot of the people that support Fallon, especially in the media side of things, will say it's so good for the game, it's so good for this. I don't know the stats and things on that. If someone does, please let me know. I would love to know what the viewing figures are on that, to see if that supports those claims, because when she doesn't have, like, it's the difference between a darts audience and a mainstream audience. Now, the darting audience aren't overly attracted to the following of it. You can tell that because she plays in the online darts league. The viewing figures don't move. She played at Selzy on a stream. The viewing figures didn't move. It wasn't like, oh, Fallon's playing, we've got to go watch that now, because we're talking hardcore darts fans. The people that are here, the people that understand darts, the people that are watching this channel because they know the more in-depth dart-related stuff. It didn't overly attract them. You probably looked at the results, but it didn't attract you enough to come and watch that game. Now, I did a fan feature down at the Premier League, and I would go around interviewing the fans for Sky Sports. And in that feature, the amount of people I spoke to who I said, do you want to come answer a quiz on darts? And they went, mate, I don't know much about darts. I'm just here for the night out. Them people will know who Fallon is, and they will recognise Fallon because they see her on Good Morning Britain, they've seen her on The Chase, they've seen her on BBC Sport, they see her in the adverts on Sky Sports. It's that familiarity that we said about. She's got that factor, and it's that audience that will watch. I'd be really interested to know, because when she got to the final and she was doing well, I say again, I reckon that probably went onto those mainstream media sites where the people who go, oh, I know who that is, might have come over. Does it retain them within darts? Probably not, because they're there for the story. But I'd be interested to know. And I think it was the Weekly Darts Cast said that they was going to release the viewing figures on their show. I haven't heard it yet, but I'd be interested to know what they was. Yeah.
Edgar TV.